Good morning. We're back live again, and as what I usually do, at the start of the week, and I didn't do that. Usually enough the committees, who's in the committee and are on the committee. So we'll just do that before we do it again.
Great. Good morning. I'm Brian Collmore, representing the Rutland District.
And I'm Rob Plunkett, representing the Bennington District.
Steve Heffernan, Madison County District.
Joe Major, Windsor District.
Russ Ingalls, Essex District, and we have three young people, and they're coming to visit us. Who do we got?
Magdalena Short from Fairfax, Vermont.
Kate Dooling, also from Fairfax.
Adriana Tomovich, also from Fairfax.
Well, we're gonna put you on the spot for a little bit. What's going on today? What are you doing?
We just took a trip here to, I guess, walk around. We just came from the floor session. And so now we're just sitting.
In committees?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll be interviewing representatives later about bills that we've been following.
Oh, nice. Have you been following any agriculture bills?
None that I'm not out of those two.
Not yet. Okay. Well, maybe we'll get you excited about a couple. Well, welcome and thank you for coming. It's always nice to have younger people come in and see the process. And if you ever need anything while you're here, usually Senator Major has candy, and he's the go-to guy with that. And
Candy and cookies.
so, but thank you for coming.
How many other students?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, how many other students here did?
Our class has 11 students, and then we also have exchange students from France who took a tour, and now they're exploring the city.
Thank you. Any questions for us?
Not right now.
Okay,
Thank you.
sounds good. We're gonna have Michael O'Grady, the Deputy Chief Counsel, talk to us about H484. Welcome, Mr. O'Grady. How are you?
Good. How are you all?
Good and good. Well, thank you. We had Representative Nelson give us a brief rundown on a lot of stuff. I think he did talk about H484 a little bit, but but we have you here, so we are glad to have you.
Would you like me to put the bill on the screen?
We have it printed. Lined up.
Okay.
Everybody have it, and it's on our screen if we'd like. So yeah.
Okay, so I won't put it up. Currently, the Agency of Agriculture regulates fertilizer and lime products that are sold in the state, and they've been doing that for decades, and they do it both as a system to determine what is coming into the state and as a consumer protection program to ensure that what is sold is actually what is advertised and sold at the right weight, isn't adulterated, doesn't have anything that's harmful in it, etc.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Our guest. So what's going on here right now is that we have a bill that came up from the House and they passed it out. And now they brought it over to the Senate. So it came out of the House Agriculture, and now it's coming to the Senate Agriculture. And this is the attorney who's written the bill and knows about the bill. And so he's explained the bill to our committee as it passed in the House and how it worked out.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over the past few years, there have been products that have entered the market that aren't technically fertilizer or lime products, but present the same concerns that fertilizer and lime products traditionally have, that the state wants to ensure they are what they are holding themselves out to be, and they're not harmful, and they are regulated. And so you've been adding those products on a case-by-case basis, plan amendments, soil amendments, stimulants. And other states have been addressing the same issue, these new products that are entering the market and how that they can be regulated. And you might not know that the different state agencies, they have state associations or associations of themselves that work together to try to address common issues. And one of those associations is the Association of American Plant Food Control Officials, or APFCO, is their acronym. Well, APFCO saw the need to find a uniform way to regulate these new products that are entering the market. And in 2024, the APCO members adopted what's called the Uniform Beneficial Substances Act. And states across the country have been amending their state statutes to come into conformance with the Uniform Beneficial Substances Act. And that is what H484 would do in Vermont. It would amend the current chapter on fertilizer and lime to include regulation of beneficial substances. There are substantive changes related to labeling, to statements on a beneficial substance label, ingredients, requirements of that nature, but there are just a lot of conforming amendments and changing the series of terms, plant amendments, plant stimulants, and soil amendments, and replacing that with the term beneficial substance. When I walk through, I'm just going to say there's the conforming change, there's the conforming change, instead of having to say, just replaces those three with one. So with that said, you'll see page 1, line 4, section 1, amending that fertilizer and lime chapter, and renaming it the fertilizer, lime, and beneficial substances chapter. You'll see on page 2, there is a definition of beneficial substance. It's any substance or compound other than primary, secondary, and plant nutrients, fertilizers, and excluding pesticides that can be demonstrated to be beneficial to one or more species of plant, soil, or media. It includes plant amendments, plant biostimulants, plant inoculants, which are a new term added according to the APCO uniform law, soil amendments, and soil inoculants, which is another new term being added under the APCO uniform law. And other chemical or biological substances beneficial to plants or their growing environment. So that last phrase is important. So you don't need to come back every year when there's a new product, a new category that reaches the market. So the agency is going to have this authority to determine whether or not products that reach the market are beneficial substances and need to be regulated under the chapter. You'll see on page 2 the definition of brand, the conforming change, same change, conforming change in the definition of distribute and distributor. Let's look at the definition of fertilizer on page 3 to see how it's distinguished from soil amendments and plant amendments. It's any substance containing one or more recognized plant nutrients that is used for its plant nutrient content and that is designed for use or claimed to have value in promoting plant growth or health, except unprocessed animal or vegetable manures and other products exempted by.
We might have a different version. When bill is introduced, printed out.
Yeah, must be, it's online. If you guys go to the webpage, it's online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me too, Michael, while we're looking for that, what is a plant inoculant? I think I know, but.
So a plant inoculant is defined. It is on page 6 of the ASPAT.
Oh, okay.
It has microorganisms in it.
Yeah.
As opposed to just nutrients. And those microorganisms are applied to the plant or the soil for the purpose of enhancing the availability of uptake of plant nutrients. So it has biological organisms in it that are separate from the plant nutrients.
So when a human being gets inoculated, we think of vaccines and stuff like that.
You have an organism that's put into you.
Yeah. And this is similar. Okay. Thank you.
So, I guess I'm still working off of the ASPAT version. So I think if you go to page 5 of the ASPAT, you'll see that there are conforming changes in the definition of label, definition of labeling, definition of official sample. And then you come.
Because we're going down through this, I'm just looking at it. Is this bill corralling in a lot of these products into, and that's what it's doing? I mean,
Yeah.
were they getting kind of broad and if hey, you're gonna bring you into your own category.
So you'll see in a minute that any of these products, in order to be sold in the state, have to register. And have to be approved by the agency for sale in the state, and then have to meet all the requirements for labeling, ingredients, composition, adulteration, etc. And so it's bringing them, it really is, and the agency is the one that characterizes it as a consumer protection chapter to ensure that people are getting the products that are marketed to them in a way that's not fraudulent. I don't know if Representative Nelson used the term that he was calling them, and so, yes, and so
That
this
did
is
slip out.
this is
I do
to
that.
ensure that these products really aren't that,
Right.
and that they do meet their asserted benefits, and so that's what the program is about. And you know, and it happens in other parts. It happens in commercial feed too, because commercial feed, you have the same new products like cake and chicken and you know your cow hair. There's all these different products that are entering the market, and the agency has to ensure that they're not just being sold to generate money, that they actually have a benefit.
Well, I'm kind of looking at this, but even going further back, Uncle Ben's elixirs that will, you know, and I mean, all kinds of different little bottles of this or that, and okay, for now, we're gonna just bring this in and make sure it works.
Right. And there are products that you've probably seen out there for years, like biochar, right? And like biochar is, depending on who you talk to, worthless or the best thing in the world.
Right.
And
And you have the same thing with it.
yeah, you have to register biochar to be used for its asserted purposes.
Yeah.
So page 6, line 7, there's that definition of plant biostimulant. When you added this definition a couple of years ago, there was some acknowledgement that you didn't really know how to define it. And so the definition was developed with the agency, but now that APCO has addressed the issue, these are changes being made to conform with the APCO uniform law. So it's a substance, microorganism, or mixture that, when applied to seeds, plants, or the rhizosphere, soil, or other growth media, acts to support the plant's natural nutrition processes independently of the biostimulant's nutrient content. So something else besides the nutrient content is leading to the growth or support of the. Then you see that definition of plant inoculant that Senator Collimore was asking, microorganisms applied to the plant or soil for the purpose of enhancing availability of uptake of the nutrient. Definition of product is the conforming change. Definition of registrant, the person who has to register all these products every year. The conforming change, soil amendment. This is to follow the APCO definition. We were really close to the APCO definition. We just had a reference to biostimulant that APCO did not, and so it's being struck to maintain conformity with the APCO uniform law. And then seeing page 8, the soil inoculant definition, microbial product that is applied to colonize the soil to benefit the soil chemistry, biology, or structure. Again, that's conforming with APCO. Use is the conforming change in the term, and that's your definitions. But then you come to the key regulatory tool for the agency for these products. It's the registration. Each brand or grade or formula or fertilizer, beneficial substance, or shall be registered in the name of the person whose name appears upon the label before being distributed in the state. It has to be registered annually. And so there is some ability for you to have the same grade of product, and that product can be just registered once. But when you start having different brands on it, then it has to be registered. It's an $85 a year registration fee per product. That fee is pushed into a special fund that is used by the agency to run this program, the soil amendment fertilizer program and the feed and seed program. The registration fees for both programs go into the same special fund to run those programs.
Couple questions about that. I'm sorry.
I think we're gonna ask the same questions.
What's the other state's charge on this? Are you aware of as far as?
So
fees are?
it's a little bit all over the map. This was last amended a couple of years ago. And we weren't the highest, but we were on the higher end. I would have to go back and see what the other states are charging.
And as far as all these products, and I think Rep Nelson had told us that he thought there might be about 4,000 of them.
That's simply estimate for the new products.
And of all those products, are they verified with testing in some way?
Well, you're gonna come and see what they have to do in order to
Okay.
do that.
Yep,
Part of
you
their
get there.
composition label, they have to have, they might be required to provide efficacy data to show that they are actually capable of what they claim to do.
That money's is on them to do that as far as,
If they're going to provide the data, yes,
okay,
yes.
And I would say who's doing that testing? It's,
So it's both. So when prior to submission or registration of the product or the brand, the manufacturer, the registrant has to basically determine what's in the product, ingredients, and so they're gonna be doing that. But the agency of ag also has regulatory authority to do sampling and testing underneath this program to ensure that everything that is sold is actually what is being marketed as.
so is it federally or are you saying, but
This is the
state?
state.
So state, so they have to go to each state.
They have to go to each state and register their product, just like they had to do for pesticides and animal food, feed. They had to register all of their products individually in every state.
and they can bring their test results with them.
Yes, yeah,
I think it would be,
yeah.
so we're headed to the lab tomorrow in Randolph. It would be, if they were to ask for testing on that, is it quite possible that some testing would have been done there for some of these
If
products?
they wanted to do a sample of the product, that's where they would do it, unless what they're sampling for is beyond the capacity of the lab, and then they would have to send it to another lab.
Thank you. Yes.
Could we amend that to $100?
You could do that. That's within your authority. And the bill is gonna go to finance anyway, because it's not, you're changing the fee, you're changing the categories of products that are going to be subject to the fee. So theoretically, you are expanding the revenue to the states. That would, it went to Ways and Means in the House. I expect it to go to finance.
Well, after talking with the representative, that $100 might be a more next round number. 85.
That is, you are the fee setting body, the general
So
assembly.
do I move that to the committee? And vote on it, or how's that work?
I'd just like to hear if you could, even if you didn't do it, Michael, just to see where the other states are as well. If we could get some information on that.
It won't be hard to do that.
Okay, then we can certainly, yeah. we can
Particularly New England.
Yes, yes,
When the last time it was raised?
yeah. So let's get
It was last year.
I'm not opposed to what you're talking about, but let's be able to verify why we would do that. And that's all that I want to do. I want to be able to justify it. That's fair. So,
So for going back into the substance of the bill on page 9, lines 6 through 11, you'll see when the beneficial substance is referring to a specific formulation, they may refer to the same specific formulation, but once they start having different brands, it has to register as a different product. So see the bottom of page 9, lining products have have always had a lower registration fee. And so they have a $50 registration fee as opposed to the 85 for all other. Top of page 10, you'll see the reference to the deposit of those fees in the special fund that's used to run this program. Page 10, you'll see line 6, the requirements for labels. This is on page 11. You'll start to see some of the more substantive requirements of this bill, where for beneficial substances, they have to have a statement identifying the purpose of the product. They have to have a statement of the composition showing the amount of each ingredient, which is the agent in a product primarily responsible for the intended effects using the following format. They have to show all of this information on page 12, the name of the beneficial substance, the genus and species of microorganism. They have to, for products that contain microorganisms, they also have to include the expiration date for use and storage conditions, so the microorganisms don't die or are used after they would have died. And then on page 12, lines 16 through 19, I can't remember which member asked this question, but the agency may require efficacy data to support beneficial substance ingredient claims if the ingredient is not presently defined by APCO's publication for the particular claim. So if someone's making a claim that's not supported by APCO's documentation, then the agency can ask for additional efficacy data. On page 13, line 1, you'll see another fee. There's tonnage fees. These are generally on fertilizer. And the amount of fee, that amount of fertilizer that's moved is subject to $150 minimum tonnage fee, and at 50 cents per ton of ag fertilizer and $30 per ton of non-ag fertilizer. The non-ag fertilizer fees, tonnage fees, are placed in an agricultural special water quality fund to help the agency pay for the cost of that.
Can you just explain that again, Michael, please?
Sure.
Page 13, lines 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 is where I'm the $150 minimum tonnage fee. I'm confused by that.
So often fertilizer is not sold in packages. It's sold loose as tons or bucket loads. And so it is subject to a fee when it's distributed into the state as loose fertilizer, ag or not. So that's where the fee comes in here. Instead of it being on the product, it's on the tonnage that is distributed into the state.
So is that above and beyond what the cost of the fertilizer would be?
It can be, yes. Can be. It's what the distributors are going to pay for what they distribute in these fertilizers.
To the farmer.
Pardon it?
To the farmer, to the
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
And it's at $150 minimum tonnage fee. So if it's $100 a ton, now it's $250 a ton. Am I?
That's where I'm struggling a little bit, Michael. It's exactly what Senator Heffernan just added. So if the product is $100, it costs does this add $150 to that price?
Minimum tonnage fee, which is that, is it per ton?
It's per your delivery, right?
Okay.
It's per the delivery of what you receive. It's not
Per ton.
per ton.
Okay.
Just the wording's a little makes you.
Yeah, I agree. So you're gonna pay $150 minimum, and then you're gonna pay 50 cents per ton of ag fertilizer.
Okay.
And $30 for non-ag, because that's they generally want to discourage its use in this form, but it's still used for uses such as golf courses, and other similar types of greenery. And the agency can talk to you best about how they do tonnage fees. It's, it's something that they've done this way for a long time.
Well, look, we might want to, on this bill, we might want to just bring the agency and if there will be a few questions that we have to ask. Thank you.
So moving out of the label, you'll see in the tonnage fees, you'll see inspection and sampling authority for purposes of enforcing the chapter. The state can require sampling, and they may enter into public or private premises. They can inspect. They can sample and analyze any fertilizer, beneficial substance, or line. They can monitor. Page 16, moving out of the inspection and sampling, there's the misbranding. The changes here are largely the conforming change, but they have the ability to bring enforcement for misbranding a product that's distributed in a false or misleading way. If it's distributed under the name of another fertilizer product, it contains unsubstantiated claims. Similarly, on page 17, line 3, they have the ability to prohibit the distribution of an adulterated product. One of the things that's being changed here in response to the APCO uniform law is defining deleterious to ingredients that are harmful, not just the beneficial plant life, but the animals, humans, aquatic life, soil, or water as well. So if the product is somehow contaminated, somehow includes an ingredient that is going to be harmful to soil or water or humans, it can also be deemed to be adulterated as deleterious. Moving on to page 18, line 3. The agency publishes on an annual basis consumer information regarding the use of non-agricultural turf or fertilizer and beneficial substances. They provide this information to the public. They give results of analysis based on official samples of fertilizer, beneficial substances, and lime. They consult with UVN and other interested parties to produce information for distribution to the general public regarding the issues that fertilizer or over-fertilization might cause. Page 19, line 16, they have rulemaking authority. It's not changing. Page 20, line 1, they have short weight authority if the product does not have the amount of product that is labeled, or they can enforce against that registrant, that distributor. Page 20, line 16, they can cancel the registration of any of the products that are subject to registration. Page 21, line 3, they can detain the fertilizer beneficial substance or liming material. They can order its withdrawal from distribution for any violation of the chapter. They can condemn it, page 21, line 18, and they can actually order its seizure and destruction. Page 22. See that they can order it that it can be disposed of in any manner consistent with the quality of the fertilizer, beneficial substance in the line. And then on page 22, line 18, fertilizer dealers, fertilizer manufacturers, they transfer material between them. The chapter shall not be construed to restrict or impair sales or exchanges of fertilizers or beneficial substances to each other by importers, manufacturers, or manipulators who mix fertilizer materials. That's not subject to the registration fee or the tonnage fees when they're making the fertilizer or beneficial substances. There's administrative penalty authority. This is being amended to incorporate the changes to beneficial substances, including the ingredients and information that is now part of the beneficial substance label, and the adulteration changes that was also made. And that's really the bill. Goes into effect July 1, 2025.
Questions?
I don't think so.
Thanks, Michael. As always, well done. Thank you. You make the necklace a little bit exciting, so thank you.
Yeah, it's not.
It's labs, so.
Yeah. Well, they were yawning a little bit. I don't know, Michael, you might have to up your game a little bit.
I have a voice that can put people to sleep, but it's not the most
Yeah.
popular culture issue.
But I'm glad that they're doing it because I can tell you, the word snake oil comes to mind sometimes with all of this and, but it's funny. It's exactly kind of what Rep. Nelson said and as what you kind of alluded to. There's some people that would, there's some groups of people that will take all these products and they'll say, I'll tell you, you can't do anything in life if you don't use this product. And the other, farmer down the road will say, so it is all what it is.
So to your knowledge, was there anyone that testified in the House that was against the bill?
Yeah.
I think you should have focused on the fact that you changed, gives consideration to just consider. I mean, that's detail.
Yeah.
I appreciate.
We try to be consistent with the AFCO uniform law.
I think everybody's gonna get $20 if they say that word fast 3 times.
Well, I knew that Representative Nelson, if he would say that on the floor, that he would get some laughs.
I was pretty sure, yeah, I was wondering if that was a joke, but it's actually,
It's the actual name,
He struggled with it just a hair.
but it definitely warmed the crowd up when he said that's the acronym he would be using.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you.
thank you. Have a good day.
thank you.
Yep, you as well. Just trying to, go through a committee as far as anything.
I will send you some registration fee information.
Yeah.
Probably by noon.
Awesome. Thank you. Just discussions as far as where I had with, Senator Pershlik as far as, trying to chase down our monies and, where we want to be. And, I didn't mean to be rough on the food people, but a 75% increase coming into a committee on a tough year is to me, just, I know we're on camera and that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And it's sometimes when you ask for too much, it's hard to get excited about even the base amount of funding. That's where it's at. So I apologize to anyone that might have taken offense to that, but a tough year to be asking for 75% more than no matter what it is. So, other than that,
We're gonna have the agency in on the bill.
we got Thursday. We'll have them in on Thursday. We're on the road tomorrow for a field trip. That should be fun. And, unless there's